Hi, I'm Ken Kessler, and welcome to the Sounds of Christmas podcast. If you're new to this podcast, I want to start by saying thanks for joining us. If you're not new to us, welcome back. Either way, I'm glad you're here. Now, to avoid any confusion, I want to say right off the bat, there won't be any music played here. This is a place for conversation. I'll talk about Christmas music and some related topics, sometimes by myself and sometimes with guests. If you're looking for music, just go to soundsofchristmas.com and click on the tree or the player on the front page or on the Listen Now page. We play the best variety of Christmas music all year long. Well, except in October, when we play the best variety of Halloween music. This past week, we lost B.J. Thomas. He came on the scene in the mid-1960s when his cover of Hank Williams' song, I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry, made it into the top 10. He had 13 more visits to the top 10, including his number one hits, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, and Hey, Won't You Play Another Somebody Done Somebody Wrong song. Of course, here on the Sounds of Christmas podcast, we're particularly interested in Christmas music, which wasn't something B.J. Thomas was really known for. But it's not as though he didn't record any. He did. Quite a bit, actually. It's just a little tricky sorting it all out, as record labels reissued them with new titles and artwork, changing configurations and adding or subtracting songs over the years. So this may not be completely accurate, but it's the best I could do. I believe his first Christmas album was in the mid-1980s. It was called All Is Calm, All Is Bright, and featured his take on Silent Night, Joy to the World, and several other more religious songs. A bit of a follow-up to his 1982 album Peace in the Valley, which was comprised of non-Christmas religious fare. He put out a similarly themed Christmas album called Scenes of Christmas, which came out in 1995. It opened with his cover of the Christmas song and then repeated several of the songs he'd recorded on previous releases, though it's possible those were new recordings. Scenes of Christmas may be out of print at the moment. The first Christmas album from B.J. Thomas that got on my radar was his 1997 album, Christmas is Coming Home. The highlight of this one for me was his cover of Grown Up Christmas List, which at the time hadn't seen a lot of covers. Natalie Cole and Amy Grant are the only two artists that come to mind as having recorded it before BJ. Around 2005, he released That Christmas Feeling, which combined secular and non-secular recordings, including many from his earlier releases alongside Santa Claus is Coming to Town and Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. It also contained several of his non-Christmas hits, like Raindrops and Hooked on a Feeling. A couple years after that one, he released Home for Christmas, an album that combined studio versions and in-concert performances. The only song I remember not appearing on previous releases on that one was a version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That was followed up the next year by an album called Country Christmas. It was a 2-CD set, the first featuring Lee Greenwood and the second featuring B.J. Thomas. I don't think there was anything new on that one, but it's possible some of those songs were re-recorded for this collection. 5 or 6 years ago, there was an album that was called Christmas with Three Beautiful Voices. This included tracks by B.J. Thomas as well as songs from Lee Greenwood and Celtic Thunder. It had lots of live recordings from B.J. and Lee Greenwood and many re-recorded Christmas songs from the latest lineup of Celtic Thunder. B.J. also recorded a single called On This Christmas Night, which I think was released in the late 1970s on a compilation with other artists. That also included his cover of God Bless the Children, and if I remember correctly, it was kind of a soundtrack to a Christmas special that aired on a cable channel. So while B.J. Thomas won't necessarily be remembered for his Christmas music, he still put out 5 releases of his own, plus the couple with other artists. And of course, we play a lot of BJ's Christmas songs on the Sounds of Christmas. It was a little complicated running down all of BJ's Christmas music, and I apologize if I missed anything or got anything wrong. Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head was the first 45 I bought with my own money, and I couldn't let his passing go by without a few words of remembrance and gratitude. Thank you for listening, and thanks for helping this podcast continue to grow. We're currently on about 24 different podcasting sites. Since you're listening to this now, you've obviously found us somewhere. But if there's another site you like to use for podcasts, check out our podcast page on our website for the complete list of everywhere that you can listen to the Sounds of Christmas podcast. Again, the website is www.soundsofchristmas.com. Then just click on the podcast tab. For the Sounds of Christmas station, to listen to the music, you'll need to stick with our website or our app in the Google Play Store. In the meantime, thanks again for listening. If you have comments or suggestions, feel free to reach out to me on social media or through our website. And may you always believe in Santa Claus.